In this lesson, we'll cover metadata overlays. What is a metadata overlay? Metadata is details about your document. So that could be a description, exhibit number, trial exhibit number, or common name. You can pull those in or out of your eDiscovery database, whether that be open or local or Eclipse SE or any of the other types of eDiscovery databases out there. You can export a .csv file that has columns and items that match up with your item ID. So what does your metadata overlay document need to have? It needs to be a CSV. It needs to have a column with an item ID. Now the column doesn't need to say item ID, but it does need to coincide with the item IDs that you have here in Trial Director. So if it's EX0007, the CSV needs to say EX0007, so that way that data knows what to link to. Again, doesn't need to have the column called description, but it needs to be the data that you want to put in that description per that item ID. So if we were importing, or let's say we did for EX006, it would need to say notice of deposition in one of those fields, and that column we're going to say goes into description. If you have a column in your eDiscovery database for exhibit numbers or trial exhibit numbers, you can obviously pull those over as well. So once we've created and exported that CSV file or made edits once we've exported that CSV file, how do we bring it in here? So we're going to go up here and we're going to go to this little icon right here that says import metadata. It's a little document that maybe has like a, let's say more than or less than with a slash, we'll say, and we'll select that. Browse out to that CSV file. So I'm going to go over here. All right, so we're going to browse out. I have them saved here in my exhibits folder. You can have them saved in an import folder or whatever structure you'd like. Just happen to have them saved here. And it's my CSV import. I'm going to hit open. You'll notice my columns came in. So my first column, if it's not item ID, you can switch it to description, trial exhibit number, common name, or if there's nothing there, nothing. The second one I have to bring in is my description, so that follows that properly. If it was trial exhibit number, we'd switch it. Then what are the last three? If I don't have anything there, put none. If I have something there, put it where it is. If my first row is the header, I need to make sure I check that first row as a header. Otherwise, that doc ID, description, trial exhibit number is going to come in as if it were metadata itself. It's not, so I'm going to take it. How do we want to handle the data? Overwrite existing data or retain existing data? I'm going to overwrite. We can retain. It's just not going to populate those particular fields. I'm going to overwrite because I do have something in there. Update page one only. Update page one and the document level, or update the document level only. So if you think about it, Exhibit 6 at the document level has notice of deposition. Exhibit 6 page 1 at the page level might not have something in there. Do I want something in there? Do I not want something in there? How do I want to update this? So I'm going to say page 1 and document, just so that way I have it both places. Then we're going to hit save. It's processing. That's why it had the yellow little gear. Now it's all good to go. Check mark, green, good to go. If we look over in our Documents Explorer, I'm going to spread it out a little bit more. We see that 6 updated, both at the document level and the page level. I now have an exhibit number, trial exhibit number there. I have something for 7, something for 8, something for 9, and something for 10. Again, both at the document and page level. I only brought in those 2 things, or really only one thing. I had my item ID, my control number, and then my description. So I did bring stuff in. Like I said, you can bring it in for all fields, all on that entire metadata CSV file, or you can bring it in via your multiple ones. Now let's take a look at that CSV file and how it was specially formatted. So I'm going to open it here. We'll open it up with Excel. Now there is a little nuance here. Now, if you export a CSV file, like I told you, export it from your eDiscovery, or you can build it yourself, you need to have these carets. See these little carets here? You need to have them. That's how it processes in with that CSV file. So save it as a CSV file, maybe edit either in Notepad, Notepad++, Excel like I have here, and then put in those carets right before and right after each column. You need those carrots to bring it in, otherwise it's going to kind of smush them all together. So put in those carrots before you import and then bring it in. That's kind of my last little thing. When you export that CSV, put in those carrots and then import if there are any other changes you didn't need to make, or there are, make those changes for your CSV. But make sure you put in those carrots and then bring them on in. Thank you so much for attending.